time to respect the nature. It's time to respect humanity. Like we're not allowed to even touch each other. So that's a huge message. Even when we traveled in the city, like if you didn't have a mask, they would, look at you like, you were doing something terrible. Started cooking myself for the very first time actually. First few days you wake up and you're like, oh my god, there is no food anymore. So you have to cook if you want to eat. So then you start getting used to a regime, and you're like calling your mom, or you're like looking at the YouTube videos.
Hello guys, hope you all are safe and sound and at homes. And to make your lockdown a little more interesting, today we are going to interact with the ever bubbly, charming actress Amrita Rao, who's doing a commendable job by helping a lot of people amid this lockdown. Hello Amrita, welcome to India Forum.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is mine.
So Amrita, first of all, heartiest congratulations, and we would like to applaud you for your recent generous work that you have been doing amid such critical and crisis situation. I just heard that you have laid off the rent of all the people who were staying on lease on your land, and congratulations for that. First of all, how did you come up with this thought of being so generous and kind towards people?
Actually, I have few of my tenants who are in the entertainment industry. So some of them are actors. One of them is a cinematographer. So I was recently informed by my mom that the broker informed her that these guys are not occupying the flat since the last 2-3 months, and they've all gone to their respective hometowns, to just be with their family and be safer. So they were requesting if I could, maybe just excuse their rentals for the month. And I instantly said yes without even thinking twice, because I think it's fair enough, The situation called for it. Also, they were not occupying my flat. And given that, they are in a profession where there is no monthly guaranteed income coming in, I just thought that's the least I could do. So small things, but you know what, Priyanka, there are a lot of people who are doing bigger things during this COVID war. You hear cases of, कोई रिक्शा ड्राइवर है जो बिना किसी दिहाड़ी के he's like driving patients to hospitals for free. When you hear of such COVID warriors, people who are giving food for free, and even Vikas Khanna, the chef Vikas Khanna, I should mention him. So this is like what I've done is like just a speck in the ocean, not even a drop in the ocean.
Amrita, I also heard that someone in your residence, in your building, tested positive for corona, and the section was sealed. So, in such a difficult time, what were your thoughts? Did you get scared that, just your neighbor has been infected, and what precautions you took? How did you just keep things in place?
We just got to know, I think, about 4-5 days ago that yes, there was a senior citizen who got affected with the virus. That she's been admitted right now. She's under treatment, so she's not in the building. She's in a hospital. But I think that just goes to prove that after taking so many precautions during the lockdown, not venturing out, the virus can still come inside your house. So you just have to be very careful about certain things, certain measures. I have a lot of tips for your viewers actually. For example, I would say don't unnecessarily order for clothes, and like shop unnecessary, have those courier parcels. Just eat at home as much as you can. Don't call for pizzas, and because the food might be hot, but the person who's carrying the food could be a carrier of the virus. So even if let's say there is an emergency and you want to order for something like a courier parcel or something, just keep it at the door for a couple of days. Don't touch it immediately. Small precautions, but we have to be very aware. And yes, these are testing times, but this is not the time still to have household help, like house helpers come in and do anything for you. You have to be self-sufficient in those matters as well.
Amit, it's been almost 3.5 months that we are all under lockdown. So
Yeah.
how have you been coping up with the new normal right now and the 3 months that you were at home? What differences came into your daily routine? How did you manage the lockdown first of all? Because it just suddenly came in.
It suddenly happened, and fortunately, I had just, like, we didn't go for a vacation in December. We went for a vacation towards the end of Jan. So we were there in Thailand, and as soon as we landed at the airport, we saw everybody was masked, and we couldn't understand what was going on, because I guess in China that had already started from December. The world didn't know about it, and we actually saw that in at the airport, in the Bangkok airport. Everybody, all the Chinese, Japanese tourists were all masked, and even when we traveled in the city, like if you didn't have a mask, they would, look at you like, you were doing something terrible. So that's when we realized that something is wrong, and this virus has started. So it's been a journey since then. We came back, and then it took time for India to suddenly, realize that the virus was spreading here. So yeah, I think we have taken it in good spirit, positively. I've tried to. The first thing we did was not allow all the household domestics. We gave all of them off, and started cooking myself for the very first time, actually. So that was like a that, that actually hits you. It hits you. So the first few days, you wake up and you're like, oh my god, there is no food anymore. So you have to cook if you want to eat. So then you start getting used to a regime, and you're like calling your mom, or you're like looking at the YouTube videos. We're very fortunate we have the world on our handsets today. So I think now I can say that the lockdown has given me the confidence of cooking anything. So that's the fringe benefit for sure.
What are your favorite dishes that you have cooked and received the best compliment for that?
I made bhindi aloo, which I was myself very impressed with. I really liked it, and I got this one small that what we put for tadka. Like we generally put jeera, but putting a little bit of methi seeds, cumin seeds, can really like elevate the taste of bhindi aloo. So that's something I learned. And then I made some Konkani dishes, like those comfort food dishes that you have. I made pulao, I made some fried rice, I made a vegetable korma, I made also, it's so vain, but I didn't know how to make curd. I used to think there's like some scientific, like some big scientific experiment, but it just happened. Like you do it once, twice, and you get it. So these are small victories of the lockdown for me.
The world, a lot of people all around were baking cakes and pastries, all these desserts. So you did not try your hand for that?
Not yet. I mean, I didn't try a hand with that as yet, but that's a good one. I should do that.
Talking about this lockdown period, a lot of people who were already battling a lot of mental illnesses and depression. So it was a more difficult time for them. In such time, how did you cope up with your mental health, and what did you do to, because suddenly you just get up one day and you cannot go out of your house, you cannot go out, do the normal things that you did. You could not go out for work. So it was just like being caged inside your house, of course, for the good. So, but somewhere it took a toll on all of our mental health. How did you manage with that?
So I think it's very human to feel all these emotions, like suffocated or claustrophobic, or wanting to go out, missing social life. It's very human. You just There are times when you perhaps, like went out irritation and all of that. But then there are a couple of things you do. I would say the most important lesson that I have learned in the lockdown is that bonding with your family really gives you that kind of strength to sail through any situation of life. So, when you see kids who have very strong bonding with their parents, where they are very freely communicating with them, having fun with them all the time, doing activities together, the chances of those kids having, like depression or going into their rooms and aloofing themselves are lesser. So I think parents here also should make that equal effort, including the kids, to bond with each other like never before. And apart from that, like just being in touch with happy people. I started following a lot of comedians. I must mention Jamie Lever here. She's so good. She's so talented. I've been watching Jamie Lever's videos every day. It just brings a smile on your face. Happy hormones get activated. And also, I think the mind gets used to certain things, like if you practice, if you do things, if you like look at a happy smiling face or something funny first thing in the morning, your mind can get used to activating happy hormones. So you have to work towards that, whether it's like watching something nice, watching uh, don't I don't subscribe to putting the news on, the TV on the entire day. It can be very detrimental to one's mental health. So small things, but and of course, being spiritual, reading something spiritual, listening to some spiritual gurus, that definitely helps. And I'm doing that.
Wow,
Yes,
apart from
yes.
that, since the gyms and all these health fitnesses clubs were shut too, how did you manage with that as well?
There were times when like we went to the terrace to get a walk, but very carefully, like not touching the lift button, using something else, not touching anything. You have to have a zero hand touch operation right now. So maybe walks in the occasionally on the terrace gives you good relief. Then doing pranayam at home, doing certain exercises that are like for the shoulders, stretching for the arms, for the legs, and the breathing exercises, which actually strengthens the power of your lungs. So the anulom vilom, regular things, but they really help.
The lockdown is going to continue for a little more time, and Ganesh festival is just around the corner. So, what are your
Right.
plans this year? How are you going to celebrate it with the lockdown and the new normal that is going to be around you?
So, firstly, last year I had this campaign called Eco Bappa Moria, where I really went out. I made a small promotional movie about why we should not have plaster of Paris idols and only Sharumati Ganpati, why we should go back to our roots. So I had a press con. I took that film to the media. I also did a beach cleaning activity. So that was a very wholesome campaign and very satisfying. This year, of course, I'm trying to promote the same message through interviews like this, because Ganesh Chaturthi is just round the corner now. And I think that every kid in the family should insist to their parents that we must ban plaster of Paris idols. You know, at the same time, I would say that one of my interactions during this small movie I did, I realized I spoke to a Murtikar, a Ganesh Murtikar, who had a pandal, who also had eco-friendly idols and POP idols. But he said that if the government could give them permission to start making the idols well in advance, because like a Shadumati idol takes 7 days to make one idol, whereas a plaster of Paris, in one day you can make seven idols. So that's the equation. So he said like 7 days for one eco-friendly idol. the government should give us the permissions to start this work way earlier, so have our camps or whatever, that settlement to the workshops. So I really hope that, we can, as a media or as artists, we can take that appeal forward to the BMC, to whoever concerned.
What message you want to give out to all the fans and to all the followers, to all the people in general right now? Because the world is suffering, the world is suffering from a deadly virus. The vaccines are yet to come, and everyone is just, trying their best to survive this phase. So what do you want to tell everyone out there?
I think right now what we are going through with coronavirus, it's like a war of a sort. It's just a silent war. What our grandparents witnessed was the war for independence. Before that, there have been generations who have seen so many things. So this, for us, relatively, I think, for a majority of us, we've only had to perhaps stay home, not go out, not be social. So these are, I think, small learnings that something the universe is giving us a huge message, because this doesn't happen every time. Like the universe is telling us that it's time to respect the nature, it's time to respect humanity. Like we're not allowed to even touch each other. So that's a huge message. So nature is telling us that we have to respect people for who they are, not for what they're doing right now, or the money that they have, or their class and status. People have become very judgmental of late.
Thank you so much, Amrita, for connecting with us. Thank you so much.
So guys, that was Amrita Rao with us, and this is Priyanka Chauhan signing off for now for India Forums, Mumbai. And all of you, please take care of yourself and stay at home.
Hey guys, check out our revamped website at www.indiaforums.com to get your daily dose of entertainment.